Hello, I'm your Kingdom Spiritual Transformational and Life Purpose Life Coach and Mentor, Latricia Booker. And I'm popping in on you to tell you that they will settle for your crumbs. They will settle for your crumbs. And I'm going to lead this message with Matthew 15 and 27. And it says, "She replied, 'That's true, Lord, but even dogs are allowed to eat the scraps that fall beneath their master's table.'" And that is the word of the Lord. Kingdom people. There are people who they wanted to pour from you. Some of them probably did benefit off of you, want your attention, want to just have you in their life or you be in their life. And in many of these instances, these are people, a lot of them, people that you pulled away from. But some of these people are people you don't necessarily know, but they're around. And you may have experienced where they were trying to compete with you, where they were trying to aggravate you, annoy you, get your attention, going through extremes to get your attention. And so what is happening to people, even the people that you maybe no longer deal with, sometimes these people think that it's just temporary. When God cuts you off or tell you to just separate yourself from people, I'm just hearing, come from among them, be ye separated. So when God separates you from people that he know are not, I'm going to say it like this, where they should be, where God is concerned, and all they can do is be a hindrance to you and what God is doing to you, with you and in your life, because he's calling you, or he's fulfilling his purpose in your life. And so he may have removed you from people that would be a hindrance to that. And in a lot of these instances, they were that for quite some time. But when God got ready to really level you up, he removed you from that. And I'm just hearing again, come from among them, be ye separated. And so that's why he say that too. Because, hey, I'm doing something with you over here. What they on, I got something different for you. I got something better for you. Or not even, well, better too, because a lot of these people, they settle. Again, they're not where they need to be, where they should be in God. And they're not even doing what's necessary to get there. So God will tell you to separate yourself, because you're growing, you're evolving. You're very receptive to whatever God is telling you to do. You let him lead you. You don't try to hold on to things that he's saying let go of. You do things his way, not try to get him to bless whatever you're doing that's outside of his will for you. And if you ever were doing that, you got it right. You stop doing that. And so again, God say, come from among them. So here's the thing. When God first gave me this message, he just literally, he was showing me something, just making me aware of some situations, very much so like what I just explained. Some things that I was experiencing, and again, something that God was making me aware of. And he said to me, they'll settle for your crumbs. And then he gave me the scripture. And so what God is saying is, because they're not able to get what they wanted from you, or what they even used to get from you. In other words, you're not there. You're no longer around. And, it's this thing where people just want so much from you. It's like people just want to consume you. I'm just hearing right now, control you, have some kind of, in their mind, power over you. And so sometimes people, when they don't have that no more, or have the illusion of having that anymore, because some of these people didn't have that over you, they just thought they did. Again, when God said, okay, let's go, you was gone. And God hadn't said that before. So in their mind, they thought they had power over you, but they didn't. And in some instances, they may have. But the point is that they don't have it no more. Same thing with control. If you were in situations where someone was trying to control you, hinder you, sabotage you, whatever, just keep you right here. I'm hearing keep you under their thumb, so to speak. You're no longer there. The attention you were giving to some people, you're no longer giving it to them. Again, some people, you never gave them your attention, but they was begging for it. What has happened, King of People, is, again, as I already said, sometimes people just want too much from you, and you're not giving it to them. Whether you used to, and you not anymore, or whether you never did, and it's clear you're not gonna do it. God said they'll settle for your crumbs because you're that important. I'm hearing potent right now. You're very potent. And for people who you had to separate yourself from because you were at one point dealing with them, they recognize your potency, especially now that you're gone. So they know they can't have you like they used to. As I said before, some of these people thought, people had this thing where they think, oh, it's just a matter of time. You'll be back. People think like that. And that's not always the case. Again, especially when God is calling you out. I'm not saying some people don't, and go back to they like vomit, so to speak, like the scriptures say. It happens. But that's not what's happening with you. And so people are realizing that ain't no coming back. You're not getting ready to repeat a cycle that God has delivered you from. You're not going back to people, situations, and circumstances that God have helped you to overcome and heal from. You don't go back to what caused you issues and traumas and, I'm just hearing where you have experienced abuse, just being mishandled. You don't go back to that. You don't go back to it. And I'm just getting right now, I have this thing where I'm not saying people can't change, but if they do, that's good for them. That don't have nothing to do with me. I don't want to revisit something, especially when it comes to certain things. Sometimes people, what they did towards you was so demonic and horrible that if they change, because the truth is you want people to, get delivered and free, regardless of how wicked and evil some of these people can be. But the thing is, when people do, I'm just hearing reverential damage, because some people, that's what they do. It's just something you can't come back from. If you change, if you got some deliverance, if God is doing a new thing in you, that's great. But it's best sometimes to just let people go on and you go on. Now, if the Holy Spirit leads you different, then that's different, of course. But for the most part, Kingdom People, you got to leave people where they are. Leave them where you left them, so to speak, and move on with your life. So anyhow, Kingdom People, God is saying they know they can't have you like they used to. They know that that's over. But if they can just get a crumb, just get your crumbs, they'll settle for that. They can just get a little piece of you, a little attention from you. And I'm not getting ready to go into abuse and control and all that, even though some of these people still in that same mindset. And if they could just get a little bit of control, a little bit of power over you. But again, that's sick. But the truth is, when somebody is thinking like that, when that's their mentality, they don't want a little bit. They want the whole thing. It's just like they say, when you get a devil the wheel, when you get a devil an inch here, or anybody really, you give them an inch, they'll take the whole thing. They'll become the ruler. That's how it is. It's similar to if you give the enemy a little piece of you. If you just crack the door open for him, honey, before you know it, he coming up in and listen. He been ready to tear the whole thing up because you can't give him no wrong. You don't get an enemy no wrong. So that's for when people want to just control you a little bit and they mad. They're like, okay, I can't control her like this. I can't control them like that no more. I have power over them like this, but I'll take a little bit. I settle for some crumbs. You're not finna give nobody a little bit more power or control. Again, even giving them the illusion of having it, because you're not getting ready to deal with them. But some people just won't, just because that'll make them feel so much better. A lot of these people lack self-worth. They lack, I'm just hearing self-respect, but self-love is what I really want to say. And it's understandable, because when you're not in God's love, in other words, the reason why we're able to love ourselves and even love others properly is because we experience the love of God. People that move like that and try to control and have power over and all this old stuff and try to hinder and block it, the love of God not flowing through them. It's not that God don't want his love flowing through them. It's not that he don't want them to receive his love and have his love, but that's not what they're on. God still love them, but that's not what they're on. So because they don't have that love of God, they're not receiving it and letting him work in them. They have self-hate, really. They don't have self-love. And so that's why they think these kind of thoughts of, I want to, or not even so much think the thoughts, but just have those behaviors of control and being abusive and just mishandling and want to disrespect and all those things. I'm just hearing compete, jealousy, all that is because the love of God is not just her properly flowing through them. And so, and then some of them it's not at all, because they're not receptive to it. They're not open to it. They like push it out. Some of these people just not open to God. I was listening to a young man earlier that was kind of talking about that. They are enemies of God and enemies of Christ. And I mean, it's a real thing. It's something that's really happening out here. People oppose Christ. And what God was speaking to me as I was listening is because they don't want to yield to him. They don't want to follow his ways. So they oppose him. Because what God, just think about in the scriptures, how the Pharisees and the Sadducees and even the religious, well, the Pharisees was the religious leaders, but just people who were opposing him. Why were they opposing him? Because of what he was speaking. They wasn't with that. They wanted to do things their way. And so it is today. It's the same thing. People don't want to do things God's way, so they oppose him. So if you oppose him, his love definitely ain't flowing through you. And even for people who play like they are of God, and I say play like, and I mean just that. Because some people, they just have to grow and mature, and they're in their process. But it's some people, they playing. They're not doing none of that. I'm just reminded of how what I pay attention to and what has stood out to me over time is people that I know so-called being walking with God for years. And there's not growth and maturity, not significantly enough to have transformation. And not just that, but certain acts and certain behaviors and certain things they still do and operate in. I'm just hearing being bound. It's like, when is that going to change? That's a problem. That's somebody that's bound, who's not really allowing God to flow in them. And I don't care if they going to church every dang day. If that transformation is not happening, if they're not exemplifying Christ, if you don't see that, the fruits, you know them by their fruit. It's not, and that's when God would say, come from among them, separate yourself. And so I'm reminded right now of someone that I know. He's an older man, and he's also a minister. He just got this way about himself. He get fussy or testy, and sometimes he be tripping over stuff. It's like, no, dude, you wrong. No, dude, he just got issues that were never resolved, and he's like in his, I want to say mid 70s or maybe even late 70s, and like I said, he's a minister as well. And he just like had his way about himself, where he think because of he a minister, I guess, and he's of a certain age, that things that people should just conform to him. And all that mess he got going on, I'm just saying what it is. And this is someone I had love for. I mean, I still have love for him, but I just don't really deal with him because of a lot of what I'm saying. And it was a thing where I reflected on that at one point. I was just putting them in my face and just some experiences I've had with this person. and things that I was aware of. And it's like, you 70 something years old, you're ready to be 80. When you gonna grow up? You see what I'm saying? It's like, when you gonna grow up if you're not seeing the fruit of the spirit? If those things are not being resolved in a person and they're transforming from that and they're not looking more like Christ, something wrong. There's a disconnect somewhere. And so, kingdom people, I just mentioned all that to just mention it. But you separated yourself from people like this and people like so many other things that I've already mentioned. And the thing is, this kingdom people, if they could just have a little piece of you, if they'll settle for a crumb of you, because again, listen, you are upright before God. The love of God is flowing in you. His power is working in you. He's having his way in you. So you are very impactful in people's lives. You were impactful in their lives when you were there, but either they didn't see that, didn't get that, and didn't care. They just thought you would always be there. See, when you around people, a lot of the times, and they need to change some things within themselves, they won't do it because they don't see reason to, especially where you're concerned, even though they should just be doing that anyway for their own selves. But that's a whole nother thing. But the thing is, this kind of people, when you separate yourself, people do begin to see who they are, whether they want to acknowledge it and address it or not. But you being gone is like a hole in a lot of people's lives. They don't like it. And if they could just settle, they will settle for a crumb for crumbs from you if you were to allow it. Because having a little bit of you in their mind is better than not having you at all. And I'm just being reminded of how you have a healing presence. Many of you have a healing presence. So these people didn't even realize the healing you was bringing in their lives. But what was it really healing if they still the same? Just think about that. If nothing is changing and transforming, I'm just being reminded, don't give what's holy to the dogs. Cast not your pearl upon the swine. Sometimes people just wasted you. Not saying that you were waste, but they wasted your presence in their life. Not taking it seriously, not realizing what it was. And now that it's gone, kingdom people, they'll settle for crumbs. They'll settle for your crumbs if you will give them some. And even like I said before, kingdom people, just people that even benefited from you from in different aspects. If they could just get a little bit of whatever you was giving, they'll settle for crumbs right about now, because a lot of people are desperate and they void. What they really need to be doing is addressing that with God. But unfortunately, some people just, I don't know. But God knows. He knows all things. And so we'll leave that up to him, between them and God. But kingdom people, they will settle for your crumbs if you gave them some of your crumbs. And that is all I have to say about that. So if you like this video and if it resonates with you, please just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Then click on that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. Thank you. Then make sure you go ahead and ring my bell. Ring my bell. Ring my bell so that you can receive a notification every time I upload a new video. Kingdom people, if there's any information you need to know about me, you can find all that right down below in the description box. Kingdom people, thank you for all your likes. Thank you for all your previous comments. Thank you for your shares. Thank you for your, for your financial contributions to my channel, for all the seeds that you sow into me and my ministry. Kingdom people, I will have the comments off for now. God has instructed me to turn comments off. And so while I appreciate all of your comments and your feedback and all that, I have to be obedient and do what God is telling me to do. I can't say exactly why like that, because he's not giving me all that, and I ain't necessarily asking. But I know God knows. He knows what he's doing. But he's telling me to not have comments on my videos at this time. But again, kingdom people, I appreciate all of the comments that you've shared thus far. I don't know if God will have me open them back up again at some point. But in the meantime, they will be off. But the thing is, kingdom people, I thank you all for the comments that you shared. And I thank you all for everything that you do here on the channel. Thank you, kingdom people. And kingdom people, I love you all so much. I really don't want to leave you, but I do have to go right now. Yet I will be back to hold my kingdom people down. Now, kingdom people, above all else, let the Holy Spirit lead you in all things at all times. Kingdom people, we are untouchable, we are unmovable, we are unstoppable, and we are unbreakable. Kingdom people, keep growing, keep going, and go and be great. That is our time. This Jesus girl is out. Shalom and peace.